Kathleen, hi, welcome,
Hi.
and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Joe. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you go. So I'll bring up your deck here and jump off. Feel free to get started, and I'll join back up with you in about 10 minutes or so.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Katheline Jean-Pierre. A bit more about me. I'm a senior director at LinkedIn. Before that, I spent 10 plus years at Google. And prior to that, I was a CEO of a mobile gaming startup. I worked in consulting, worked in products. So I wore multiple hats throughout my career. And one of the hats that I'm more passionate about is really helping companies grow. So basically, I spent multiple years helping 500 plus companies get to a bigger level. And today I'm going to talk about like evolving and growing from just marketing to money making. And to do that, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how marketers can speak the language of the CFO. So first things first, I think it's important to look at what are the origins of the fact. Oftentimes we think that finance and marketing are like two solitudes. One of the things that we see is that it starts at the board. And when you look at all the different decision makers, there's a perception at the board level that like 2.6% of board members have marketing experience when we look at the S&P 500. So what it means for us is that we're already set up in a place as a marketer where we're deemed to be less important versus finance. When you look at board members say that 47% they believe that finance experience is critical for the board. And that's something that's important to know as we go through the presentation. Moving on. So what are the commonalities between finance and marketing? So I think it's important to look at the bigger picture. When we look at finance, there's different activities that are critical, right? In terms of regulation, compliance, like overview, IT data, financial insight solutions, credibility with the C-suite, and that one is very important. When we look at marketing, right, oftentimes marketers we own the understanding of the customer, right? The creativity, the communication, the brand building, etc. So when these two worlds meet is around a language that I'm going to talk about that's critical to learn, and I'll share many resources after that, is the language of value creation, the language of how marketing and finance can drive margin and profit and cash flow and revenue growth and pricing. So I think for us marketers, it's important that we get our seat at the table and we focus on the steak and not the gravy, and we'll talk more about that. So moving on. So how do we bridge that gap and unlock more growth? I think in the end, what do we want to do? We want to be successful. We want to be able to grow the company. We want to be able to get from different stages of growth and generate more profits or revenue, depending on what the goal is, right? Some people want to go IPO. So it all depends. But how do we align and develop a productive relationship between marketing and finance such that we're looking in the right direction, that we're partnering to really unlock the growth? Moving on. So I'm going to introduce one of my favorite marketing and research consultant. There are many out there, but Fran Cassidy. So who she is she coined the term the value framework. She studied with hundreds and hundreds of companies across the globe to understand how do marketing and finance align in most organizations. So what she did is she studied multiple brands, big and small, to understand who drives value, what type of value is driven. When we look at different like financial metrics, right? Understanding which part of the organization is driving the value, where are the disconnects, and what is the framework that can help us align as an organization. Moving on. So what I brought here is, and I'll share this material afterwards, is how companies affect growth and margin. So when we look at this, everything is in light green is all the margin and productivity focus. So we talk about cutting costs. We talk about like raising prices or variable costs and whatnot and fixed costs. Oftentimes this is associated with finance, but it also could be associated with marketing. And everything you see in orange is the growth focus portion of some of the activities that affect growth and margins. So we talk about the growth, which is often given to the chief of sales or the CMO, market penetration. So in everything you see in the orange, all the metrics that oftentimes the marketing is responsible for. And I think what we need to know is that marketing contribution can be across all of these, and marketing really drives shareholder value, but also profitability, which is the name of the game. Moving on. So what is this value framework? So it's value, and every single letter has its weight and it's important. So V is really understanding where value is created. So what are the different activities that marketing is undertaking that's creating value? What type of value, right, is created? So when we talk about cash flow, what portion of your marketing program can help create and deliver predictable cash flow over time? I think it's important to pinpoint that. And then what part of your program can also generate growth, revenue, cash flow, right, in a shorter period of time versus in a longer period of time. Secondly, A is for accountability. So as marketers, it's important to accept accountability for driving those important financial metrics, which you have to align with your CEO, with your CFO. So accepting the accountability and making sure that a portion of your program or all of your program is really directed towards some of these metrics. Could be cash flow, could be profitability, could be revenue. And then thirdly, L is for language. So making sure that there is a common understanding under every single effort and how all of the efforts are tying back to the bigger purpose of the organization, right? Which is driving value, driving revenue, driving profits, and making sure that the efforts are also tied to the efforts of the CFO, and then you're aligning your language together. Right? So if your CFO understands what you're doing in their world, it's going to be more productive for you when you're having those conversations. U is for understanding. And that's important because oftentimes I've been like working in marketing and product and then sales for 20 plus years. And oftentimes what I realize is the financial literacy is not present in marketing across different levels. Maybe the CMO has it, but maybe not the director, or maybe it's the team that doesn't have it. So making sure that across the organization, you can train your team to understand, right, from the person who manages campaign to the person who's making the decisions, what are these different metrics, and how do these ladder up to the bigger goals of revenue, profitability, cash flow. And then once marketing is very comfortable and very literate in terms of the financial language, it's easier then to educate the CFO around this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, and this is how it's contributing to the margin. So then E is for evidence, and that's, for me, E is my love language, right? It's really, you have to make sure that you provide evidence with an empirical mindset. So you want to be looking at data beyond digital, because oftentimes as marketers, we talk our own language, right? And if you're a non-marketer and you go in the room, then you hear about, what are they talking about? CPA, CPL, CAC. So we have to bring it laddered back to the customer business objectives, which should be metrics that you could find in a quarterly earnings report.